All right, so this is the assembly DIY video. Really quick, this is everything. You have your battery, your controller, your motor, power switch, antenna extender cable, voltage display, remote control with remote control unit. This is the antenna that comes with. This is the one that you would put onto this just to make it a little bit cleaner. And then your 5-bay Wagyu connectors. You're gonna need a crescent wrench or some kind of wrench, crimpers, some diagonal cutters, small jeweler screwdriver, and maybe a pair of scissors. So just some quick specs on this. If you use the battery that is linked in the description, the most this can output is 5 amps. The reason that's important is because the switch is rated for 10 amps. While the motor controller does come with this external fuse, it's not really needed, and the fuse is a 30 amp fuse, so it's kind of pointless. There's also an onboard 30 amp fuse in this, so it's a redundancy you don't need. So some quick prep off camera. Cut the excess wire in half and then strip ends. You're gonna connect the switch through. So when you're wiring this up, you wanna put the battery on last, but the way it's gonna go is the switch will go to the remote controller. Along with that, there will be this wire, which will plug in to the live or positive end with the switch, and the ground will also be shared on the same thing. You don't want to have direct power going from the battery to the Wagos to the motor. You want to have it as direct as a path as you can through things that can handle the load. This is a 30 amp to the motor. These will take about 5 amps. These are just for your perpetuals. So just a heads up, the wire you want to use, by the way, is 16 gauge wire. You can get it off Amazon. I usually only use about 18 inches. I'm going extra wire just to make it clear for how this is going to be wired. And just to specify, I'm going to wire it out on this table, and then I'll put it all in the can so you can see what it looks like wired in the can. So the next step is you're going to take another segment of wire, strip both ends. If you look at your voltage indicator, you got these little 2 blue guys in there. Those are crimp connectors. So you open the bag up, and let me get this bag open real quick. So it's open. Comes with the connectors. Doesn't really matter what color goes on what just yet. It just matters when you connect them. So you'll slide these on. Take your crimpers. Find the right size. Crimp them down. Okay. When you go to connect it though, you need to be aware, red is positive, black is negative. On the back of here, positive, negative. So red goes to positive. Black goes to negative. And that's how this is connected. You then connect this to your Wagos. Black goes to black. Red goes to red. Oops. All right, so you have another section of wire pre-stripped again. It's going to go on the output section, negative, positive. So on this unit, conveniently, they made it so black is next to black and red is far away. So you don't accidentally crisscross or touch negative and positive together when you're wiring it up. So let me do this real quick. All right, so with this connected, give it a tug, make sure it's on there. Flip down the little yellow plastic visor. That way everybody's safe from electricity. This is the speed controller. When you get this side button will be mounted in here. You'll have to take it apart by releasing that screw and this screw right here. There will also be a blue film all over this thing. You can see a remnant of it right here. Peel that off. That is not a good thing. I don't know why they put it on there. So, and like I said earlier, internal to this, there is a 30 amp fuse in line, which is right in here. You can barely see it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this, and you have input and then to the motor. So I'm going to pause the camera again. I'm going to wire this all up, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, so everything's connected up. Like I said before, red wire to P+, black wire from the receiver to P-, the motor, red wire to M+, black wire to M-. Now, if it doesn't spin the way you want it to spin based on the configuration of how you're mounting it, If you take the motor wire, black and red, and swap them, you'll reverse the way it spins. So if it's spinning to the right and you want it to spin to the left, just take the wires and swap them on these contacts and it'll spin the way you like it to. Now, that being said, let's connect up power. So first, get rid of any stray hairs, connect ground, then connect live, press down on the switch. Now, it's not working because the receiver hasn't received the signal to work. With this receiver and controller, you want to make sure it's in the N position, which is now on, and I guess F is finally off. I have no idea, I didn't make this. A turns it on. So when it's on, this red light will appear, this red light will appear. Notice the motor's not spinning? It's because this needs to be turned to allow the voltage. So as I turn it, it goes faster and faster. And now a quick note, there is a little switch right here. You want it on all the way forward on brake. Not run, not stop. It will not work unless this is fully on, and I'll demonstrate. If I flick it, light turns off, no power. No power. Power. All right, so one final thing, here's your voltage indicator. For this battery, it's a 24 volt battery, so anywhere around 24 volts, you're good. 23, this battery needs a charge. The charger cable is simply this piece right here, and it's not needed, it's more of a conveniency, but you can plug this into here and then plug the provided charger to the battery into here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this all together in the can, and then we can see that. All right, so everything's mounted in the can. I personally will take some industrial double-sided sticky tape, and I will mount everything because stuff rattling around, that's how you break things. I just wanted to show this though. So this is your receiver once again with the TNC connector right here. Like I said, you can use this antenna. I prefer to go about this method because I just think it looks cleaner. So I screw this in and I drilled through the top of the can, and this will be mounted kind of like that. So you can still open the can up. But that being said, let's close the can up. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll power it on. We have power. All right, this is the speed indicator. Now you'll have to play with the location of this. You can literally take this off and put it anywhere. I like to aim for middle, power being about pointed towards the DC and the V on the voltage indicator. We'll go ahead and turn our controller on and we'll start it up. And it is spinning. You probably can't really see it very well. So let me just mount the wheel on it real quick. So now the wheel is on there. This is just the guide for the string. These two pegs back here from the motor, you can opt to cut them off once you've put the nuts on there. I have not put the nuts on there yet because I like to put Loctite on there first, and I forgot to bring it with me for this video. But anyway, power's on and wheel is spinning in the correct direction, which is backwards because it's pulling it that way towards the unit. And I shut it off and it winds down. So sorry for this video being 8 minutes long. I wish I could cut it down. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at contact@saltytalonequipment.com. Thanks.